in Europe and being away from everything you know is trying at times, but it's also a wonderful experience.
Being a Black woman in Paris, I would say for me has been more of an enlightening experience compared to in the States. In the States, I feel very, or at least growing up, I felt really out of place, and like I was always trying to overcompensate for my Blackness because I grew up around people who weren't Black most of the time, so it was me constantly trying to be like, I'm like you, like, look, I'm like you, and it was so exhausting. And here I feel like I don't really have to do that. I think that my Americanness protects me from some of the things that people of color might go through in this country, because here people tend to see my Americanness first before they see my Blackness.
Being Black American, I feel I get a pass here in Paris. I do notice that when I go into the metro, people kind of clutch their purse, or they just stereotype me thinking I'm African, which is absolutely horrible. And as soon as I start speaking English, everyone feels comfortable. When people ask me where I'm from, I normally just say Los Angeles, and then that's that. If they ask me what I am, I say I'm Black, and they say, what else? I say some more Black and some more Black.
People would always assume that I was Senegalese, and like every time I'd be at a bar, it's like, oh, t'es Senegalese, like, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, I'm not, and have to like awkwardly explain like, oh, transatlantic slavery, and it's really uncomfortable. And I feel like there's like this lack of understanding. It's just really hard for people to wrap their minds around the fact that like, no, I seriously don't know where I'm from.
People do look down on me when I don't know where I'm from. Or there was this one incident again in Paris when they asked me, oh, my name is Isala. They said, oh, your name's so pretty. Where is it from? I said, somewhere in Africa. And they rolled their eyes and shook their heads. They're like, it's so good you're out here because you need to learn something about African culture. But that's not my fault. I can try my hardest to learn from abroad, overseas, but I don't think I should be shamed for something that happened to my ancestors years ago. Like, telling me you were a slave. Yeah, sorry. I definitely think the Black American community in Paris is a very small group. I have one Black American friend in Paris, and I've been here a total of over 2 years now.
Looking at the differences between the Black culture in America and in France, I don't think there is a Black culture in France. I think that Black culture is Black American culture, and that's something that came from slavery.
I think it's really different because I think Black Americans, for the most part, were like descendants of slaves, so we don't really have that connection to Africa that they do here. People here know like, oh, I'm from Senegal or I'm from Cote d'Ivoire. It's different in that sense because the culture we have created, I feel like, is around the separate identity that's separated from Africa, whereas here I feel like it's more related to the country you're from. So like Senegalese culture, if you're Cameroonian, like it's separated like that, and we don't really have those separations.
African culture is a heavy influence in Black culture, but the way we processed it and played with it, it's just different. African culture is so much more rich. Not that Black culture isn't, it's just Black culture is African culture diluted and mixed with so many other cultures.
My biggest culture shock as a Black woman in Paris was probably the fact that white guys approached me willingly and like wanted to talk and weren't weird about it. I've had certain situations where I feel like it's a little fetish-like, but for the most part, it's been just normal. Like, at least maybe I'm coming because I'm from Dallas, where that does not happen. Like, I've heard so many times, even when I went to school in Ohio, it's like, oh, you're really pretty, but like, I just don't date Black girls, or like, I just have never dated a Black girl, or like, I'm just not really into dark-skinned girls. And here, that was a really shocking for me that like, I could be sitting in a cafe or like walking around somewhere and I would be approached by a white guy who would actually want to talk and like ask me out, and not have to make 1,000 points of like, wow, this is my first time talking to a Black girl, you're really cool.
I'm not sure if this culture shock came because I moved to Paris, or if I just moved to Paris at a certain age. So I was 19, and when I got here, I noticed that Frenchmen, they fetishize Black women. And again, I'm not sure if I was just 19 and people started to find me attractive, but there's like this really weird, there was this weird obsession with my skin and my hair. I was wearing curly hair, and I had one guy chase me around trying to touch my hair. Yeah.
But it's been a really special experience for me because I feel like I've been able to just be myself and date whoever I want. It's like not such a big deal. So yeah, my experience here overall I feel like has been really positive as a Black person. I feel really free, and that's kind of what brought me to Paris. Like I was obsessed with James Baldwin and all of these writers who came here seeking some kind of refuge, and I was really curious of what that would be like in 2017. And I feel like parts of it are the same. I feel like since I've been here though, now when I go back, I'm more confident to be myself. I'm more confident to dress how I like to dress.
I used to always be an insecure person, so when I came here at 19, again, I'm not sure if it was just the age I was or if it was from my experience living here in Paris, but I was much more confident with myself. I felt prettier, I felt smarter, I felt much more cultured. So I feel that with that culture change, and then being here and then being an even smaller minority than being a Black American in America, but being a Black American in France, yeah, I did appreciate those little things about myself and what I had to offer. People found me interesting. They wanted to hear about my life, and they wanted to get to know me, and they wanted to get to know that Black American experience, and seeing so many people want to know about that made me appreciate that about myself.